share. This is what we're waiting for.
There will be 4 mentors up here on this end of the stage over there. So we're going to bring them up, and here's the context. All of you guys are part of this process because you're the audience at the opportunity meeting. So Art is going to introduce these people one at a time, and the context of this would be just like a number of you. Sometimes, when you do an opportunity meeting, you'll have 3, 4, 5 speakers. Somebody will be the MC. Somebody does the product part. Somebody does the compensation part. Somebody does the support structure. So just pretend that's the case here, that these are in each case, it's a speaker who's been assigned just one 3-minute chunk of the meeting. So he's just going to introduce them by name. He's going to say, and now please welcome Mary Smith. And we need you to send them lots of positive energy. And these are really brave people to do what they're going to do, right? Think of most of these people have probably never spoken at a meeting more than 30 people, some of them. Some of them have never spoken at anything larger than a home meeting. Now they're speaking to 1,500 plus people. We're going to be mean to them. We're going to be tough on them because our job is to help them get better. And our job is really, and I'm joking when I say we're going to be mean to them. Probably Sarah Robbins, she might be really mean to them because she's, not everybody's as sweet and gentle as me, right? Right. So, but no, seriously though, our job is to give them constructive critique in terms of how this would better serve the message, how they could better connect with the audience. Here's the fascinating part of it. The person who will get the most out of this is not the person on the hot seat, it's you. Whereas when you're out there in the audience and you can just be an objective third party, you're watching them say, yeah, I love the way they're talking about that benefit. I could incorporate that into my presentation. Or, wow, I don't think he or she is connecting with the audience with that. I think it could be presented a better way. And when the judges or the mentors are giving feedback, same thing. You can take it without being defensive. So I think it's going to be a really special thing. So first, can I get up my celebrity mentors? We've got Art Jonak, Sarah Rockin' Robbins, and Urian Saleh.
All right, our next brave volunteer has been standing there probably wondering, I've got to remember all these tips, so I better wait 3 seconds before I speak. And he's from my town, Houston. Bring up T.R.E. Allen. Come on up.
Well, guys, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but have you ever been to someone's house, you walk in, they're cooking, smells good, whether it's a woman, male, they look at you and they say, you want something to eat? Whether it's a woman, she'll say baby, or, you want something to eat, grandson? And you kind of smile, you look at them and you say, oh no, I'm fine. Knowing you haven't eaten since, 6-something that morning, your stomach's touching your back. Literally. And this is one of the things that caused me to scratch my head. Network marketing was approached to me in a sense of being blessed. I kept always saying that I wanted something different, but I wasn't open. But until I opened my hand, my stomach, my mind, my heart, to be able to receive, that's when everything changed for me. I always said that I wanted to do something different. Music has been my number one love. I've been playing the piano since I was 4. But I also understood if I was going to do something, the greatest thing you can ever do is actually own it, no matter what platform it is. Network marketing, anything, business, you'd rather own it. So I said, if I'm going to do music and I want to have a platform where it's mine, I want to get into something that I'm going to have low overhead, small investments, and everything I do will continue to grow. I just thought it felt right, even as a child, to go to sleep and knew that I made more money while I was asleep, and my check continuously grew. But then I also understood that I was a gardener, a green thumb. And for those who don't know what a green thumb is, it's someone that plants seeds, that takes care of gardens and so forth. With that being said, I knew that it was best for me to plant a seed and stop throwing my seeds on solid ground and expecting a harvest. So I understood it was time for something new, something different. So a friend of mine came to me and he said, man, look, I think I might have something that might change your life. And I'm pretty sure just like anyone else, you know, you get to scratching your head and you ask why. What do you have? I mean, what could it be? And of course, he didn't tell me anything. He brought me to a house and told me it was a gathering at first. He sent it in a text message and said it's a gathering. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a club or anything. So I said, okay, let me go check it out and see what it's about. But literally, I got there. He showed me the numbers. He broke everything down. And then I equated it to a tree. The average tree grows to be 30 feet high, 30 feet deep in roots. But there's this one tree called the redwood tree. It grows to be 300 feet high and 3 feet deep in roots. The strange thing about this, because you would probably ask, wait, how's that even possible if one goes 30 feet high and 30 feet deep, and the other one goes 3 feet deep and 300 feet high? The reason why the redwood tree is able to go that high is because it connects to all the other redwood trees around it. So when I sat in the presentation and I seen the structure and I seen how the only way that you can do this business is by blessing people, it reminded me of the redwood tree that's able to stand above all other trees. And it reminded me of corporate America also, because I didn't want to do it. I wanted my own thing, my own foundation, so I could fund my dream. The other trees that grew 30 feet high and 30 feet deep, those were the average jobs that we do every day that stands on its own. So I said, if I want something different, I have to do something different. So I planted my seed, and everything changed. And I don't know if this is for you. It might not be. I don't know if you're hungry. I don't know if you're that boy or that girl or that man or that woman that walked into the kitchen and said, no, I'm not hungry, but we haven't eaten six that morning. But if this is for you, plant your seed, because your decisions affect generations to come. Thank you.
All right, congratulations for having the bravery to come on up here. And again, just I want to remind everybody that none of these people have more than an hour notice that they're coming up here. So, GRE, you're brave. I love how you tell stories. I think stories are easy to tell, they're easy to communicate, easy to share, and easy to understand for the person listening to the story. And I think you have a natural knack to want to go tell stories. The challenge I had here was that we're telling so many stories in 3.5 minutes. So I would say pick one. So, on the first story, and, let's get the hand out of the pocket, right? Let's sit here and say, you ever come to somebody's house and you smell the food? It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy, because you're hoping they say, would you like a little bit to eat? Because it smells so good, right? And so you can tell that story. It made me scratch my head. I want you to get that hand out of the pocket, scratch your head, and say, it makes you scratch your head, just like your community. So you've got that need to tell stories, And of course, the storytellers in our professions are the ones that make the big money. So that's where I'll start. I know there's probably going to be a little bit, some other feedback as well, but man, don't stop telling stories. Let's just get them to one story told well, and then find the point inside that story.
And I actually love that you circled around and came back to the full story.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's very well done.
Yeah.
That's professional and just the way we want it done. But you're losing me already when you're down there. I turn around my chair, I look at you, and I'm expecting something great to come. But you're coming walking slowly with one hand in your pocket. And that's okay to do when you're a billionaire. Not before. Before that, you got to be on your tiptoes, running up, being energetic, have that first statement, catch the audience, because you want to get there. And on my travels, we go to places where there is a bunch of billionaires. And I can tell you, whenever I see a really ugly shorts and a ripped up t-shirt, they're coming off a huge yacht.
Yeah.
But to get on that yacht, they had a power suit, power tie, and were sharpest kids ever around, okay? So it's not the time to put your hand in the pocket and walk slowly.
Amazing stories and awesome analogies, and truly, I think you have a book in your mind. I hear you as you speak. It's like I'm reading a book, and I want you to take those stories and be writing them down because you have a lot of passion there, and it's really exciting. So I loved the stories you told, and I really connected to them. So take them then now and really shorten some of the stories, pick a few points to talk on, and bring it back around to the audience and how this opportunity can be for them. But I really loved your story, and I really loved all of the passion behind it. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love your presence up there. Again, I think you're very engaging. I love your storytelling ability too. I know audiences will fall in love with you. So you got all these positives. To build on what my other colleagues have said here, it's like Orion picked up on what he had gone full circle. Start with that story, bring it all around, bring it back there. Very professional. Except you were given 3.5 minutes and you did it in 5 minutes, which is very unprofessional. Because a minute and a half on a 3.5 minute, we're talking about 40% overtime or whatever the percentage is. You've got your responsibility in an opportunity meeting, at a training, at a convention, whatever. The biggest problem any meeting planner has is trying to keep the trains running on time. I can tell you, I have two roles. I'm a network marketer, but I'm also a professional speaker. And I can't tell you how many times I'm speaking at a conference, and the first thing I ask the meeting planner is, what serves you better? Do you want my whole 90-minute talk, or do you need to get back on time? And about 80% of the time they say, if you could get me back on time and still give the audience value and they would feel like they got a whole speech, that would be the greatest thing in the world. You would be my hero, right? So I want you to do that, and then I want you to prepare for that, because you've probably found a couple of the, hey, I've got the redwood story, and I got the come in the kitchen and the whatever is cooking, and we smell the chicken or whatever the case, and I've got this story, but for 3 minutes, as Art said, you didn't have time for those stories. So pick the one that you could do in the time that'll have the effect. And then the other thing was, I like that start, but you didn't do it in a power way. You tiptoed into it. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but, I walked in the kitchen. What if you walked in the kitchen and they were cooking, and if it was a man or it was a woman? Well, first of all, we don't need to know, is it a man or that's not relevant to the story, right? It's like when you read those books and they say, Jimmy got in the car. He turned the keys in the ignition and the engine fired up. He turned on the wipers because there was a slight mist outside. He put the car in park and backed out of the driveway.
You forgot the seatbelt.
He put the seatbelt. Right? You're like saying, couldn't they have just started this story? As Jimmy was entering onto I-95, he noticed the red Volvo with the man with the shotgun.
Boom.
All right.
He's been to Houston.
So I would like to see, if you're going to do that opening, then you got to come out and say, put yourself in this picture. It's 7 o'clock at night. You haven't eaten since 6 a.m. You walk into your best friend's house and she's cooking fettuccine Alfredo. And the aroma is just wafting through the house and your eyes are watering. You're starving to death. And she says, are you hungry? Would you like some dinner? And you say, no. No, thanks. Why would you say no? So he told that story, but we tell a story to make a point. You didn't make the point. You were just doing storybook theater from Masterpiece Theater or something. I don't know. So if you're going to open with that story, you got to open it the way I did, and then you got to say, so let me ask you this. If you've got a bunch of balances on your credit card bills, if you don't have much money in your savings account, or if you don't even have a savings account, if you're one of those people that every Friday the boss says, hey, here boy, and they give you, okay, you're going to do it, you got to double down and go all in, okay?
Yeah.
But you can do it because you have the ability to do that.
Great job.
Awesome. Give it up for TRE. Good job.
Randy, yeah, we can close it up.
So you're saying, wow, that's so unfair. They told those people an hour ago and then they brought them up and they had to do 3 minutes. Every person in this room should be prepared to do that at 10 seconds notice. Got that? Every person in this room needs to be prepared with a product testimonial, a business testimonial, to do any one of the segments in an opportunity meeting, or to get a call and say, hey, we just found out Orrin Woodward's plane got delayed in Dallas. He's not coming. We need an hour and a half training from you on inviting or presenting, or what can you give us a 90-minute training on? And if you're a professional, you are ready to step in, okay? So, great. I mean, yes, we did put them through a stress thing because this isn't your average opportunity meeting, right? This is 1,500 amazing people, but every one of you should be prepared to do that within 10 seconds.
All right, very good. Any final thoughts?
I think we had an amazing audience. I mean, you guys were in on it.
Yes.
You were loving them and really cheering on for them. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
And a huge kudos to the brave ones who came up.
Yeah,
Awesome
absolutely.
job.
Let's give them all a hand. All right, so my thought is some of you are thinking, sometimes I go to a place and there's 20 people, 30 people, and I would love to have them all become better presenters. Or I have 50 people. Well, this hot seat that we just demonstrated for you, this is one way to go do that. It's a way where if you go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you've got a crew, 50 people in the audience, 60, and these are mid-level leaders, and you're like, I need to hone their skills a little bit more. They need to get a little bit better at presenting at the home meeting. So you can say, tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to do that. So Amy, come on up and just do the intro part, and let the other 49 sit there, and Amy does the intro part. You give some good feedback, not too critical. They're all going to learn. Amy sits down, then you bring up Bob and say, Bob, I need you to do the product part. And so you can just role play like this together. It'll bond your team. It's fun. It's not a lecture anymore. We're mixing up the training a little bit. And everybody in the audience is going to learn from it because they're going to say, oh, what Bob did is what I normally do. And so now I can go ahead and fix that as well. And so it's a real quick way to just increase the skill of your home meeting presenters. And I can tell you, if you have an army of good presenters in any city, you own that city within your company. I mean, there's no question about that.